What's going on, guys? Cultimush back at it with another video. I've been being requested to do a $350 build that could run Witcher 3. I couldn't do that. Then I tried to do a $400 build. Couldn't really do that either, so I had to settle with a $450 build. This build can run Witcher 3 at around 1080p, you know, medium to high settings at 35-40 frames per second. It's a solid build, though, especially because I don't use rebates in my build, so it's a little harder to get these lower budget builds to be actually under the budget of the title. So, you know, it's a little difficult, but this one's pretty decent. It's $450. You'll be able to run Witcher 3. Of course, you can run other games like GTA 5, Call of Duty Battlefield, all that good kind of stuff. So, without further ado, let's get right into this video. For the CPU of this build, I went with the AMD Athlon X4 860K 3.7 GHz quad-core processor. This is a solid CPU right now for around $70. It's a quad-core CPU. It's not the highest-end quad-core, of course. It's only $70, but at 3.7 GHz, it's fairly decent. I definitely wanted to get something like this over an i3, mainly because the i3 is like $40 more expensive, and Witcher 3 is really pointing out the fact that you do need quad core, so I don't know, I went with the X4. I think that's a pretty solid deal at $70, and something like this is probably very good in a budget build like this, especially if you're aiming to run Witcher 3, because if you look at the minimum requirements for Witcher 3, it states that the AMD minimum requirement as far as CPU goes is a Phenom 2 X4, and Athlon X4 860K is comparable to that, so I went with it for $70. It was a good deal. For the motherboard, I went with the Gigabyte GA-F2A88XM-D3H micro ATX motherboard. This is $62 right now. This also has a combo with the CPU on Newegg right now. You get both for like $120. That's a really solid deal. And just to point one thing out, the motherboard does come shipped out with the latest BIOS, so you don't need another CPU to upgrade the BIOS. The CPU will work just fine right on it. Not a whole lot of features on this motherboard. It does have 4 RAM slots, up to 2133 DDR3 memory, and up to 64 gigabytes of max memory supported. It also has crossfire support, so that's kind of nice, but I doubt people at a $450 budget are looking for a crossfire support, so whatever, if you want to, the option is open. And it has 8 SATA 60 gigabit per second ports, which is pretty cool. But all around, for around $62, this is a really good motherboard. Like I said, CPU motherboard combo on Newegg for around $120. Can't really go wrong with that. For memory, G.Skill RipjawsX series 8 GB, 2 4GB sticks running at DDR3 1600 MHz. $50 for this RAM. You definitely want to get 8 GB of RAM, even in a lower end build like this. You don't want to opt for 4 gigs, just because nowadays, even a game like Witcher 3, minimum is 6 GB, and it's recommending 8 GB. So you're gonna see a lot more, you know, of these newer games are going to be recommending 8 GB. I wouldn't be surprised if sooner down the line you see 8 GB being a minimum requirement and recommended being like 12 GB. So we are getting to that point. Also, like I stated before, the motherboard does have 4 RAM slots, so if you want to upgrade the RAM, that option is open too. In the future, you can get more than 8 GB of RAM if you want, but for now, go with 8 GB. It's cheap at $50 and it'll get the job done. For the hard drive, I went with Seagate Barracuda 1 TB. It's a 1 TB hard drive. I went with Barracuda instead because it's a little bit cheaper, around $5 to $10 cheaper, so went with that to save a little bit of money. It's 1 TB of storage. Obviously, no SSD in this build. 1 TB will do just fine. And yeah, it's fairly cheap at $48. Really couldn't go wrong with that. For the video card, I went with the XFX Radeon R9 272 GB Core Edition video card. This is a solid video card. You can game at 1080p. Obviously, you won't be maxing out every game, but you'll get solid settings and solid frame rates. And it doesn't use a lot of power either, which is nice. This is a solid video card, and for $150, this was the kind of GPU we wanted to get in this build. It wouldn't break the bank, but it's definitely not as low power to say an R7 260X. I didn't want to go with that. I definitely wanted to get a 270 to get that extra performance, and it's got 2 GB of video buffer, which we definitely want that in our GPU as well. So yeah, the XFX R9 270 is a great GPU for around $150. You could probably find it a little cheaper if you look for sales and whatnot, but right now, $150, really solid deal. For the power supply, I went with the EVGA 430-watt 80+ certified power supply. About $34 for this power supply. The max TDP of this build is going to be around 330 watts, so this 430-watt power supply will be just fine. Obviously, you won't be able to go for a crossfire configuration with it, but that shouldn't be a problem anyway. If you're at a $450 budget, like I said, you're probably not looking for that option anyway, so this 430-watt power supply for $33 made a lot of sense, and I put it in our build. Should work just fine. And it's from EVGA. I've been recommending EVGA power supplies for a while now, so you guys know what's up with this. Really cheap and really reliable as well. Finally, for the case, I went with the NZXT Source 210 ATX mid-tower case. This is the best sub-$40 case in my opinion right now. The Source 210 is just a great case. It's not a world beater or anything, but for this kind of price, it's a really solid case. The exterior is pretty basic, but hey, the interior gets the job done, and that's really what we want out of a case from a $450 build. You just want it to get the job done. It's not like we're going to be showing out to all your friends, hey, look at my $450 PC. Nah, that's not what this PC is about. It's about getting the best performance possible at this price range. So thanks for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy, leave a dislike, comment down below, hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified whenever I upload a video. Thanks as always for watching, and have a great day. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.